All right, we are live on election day. And just when you kind of thought it couldn't get any crazier, I guess the big deal is, and several people during the chats mentioned this. Oh, and another thing, I'm going to have one quick chat here in the morning. So I have to go out, run some errands, take care of some stuff. I'll probably have an afternoon one uh, after 12. It'll be short, and maybe one later in the evening, and definitely one probably in the morning tomorrow, depending on what I have to do or the afternoon. So we'll break it up. I'm not going to have one huge long chat, but just when you thought it was crazy, okay? Um, the big controversy, and several people did mention this on the live chats about Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Okay, so everyone's showing up. So I go on there to see about election results, and actually, I think I'll type that in now and see if I can get some kind of thing here. Election results. Election polls today. Wait, it's okay. Nothing yet. Let me do this. Let me do. Election results today. All right, I got something here. Not much going down, but I see we got a bunch of people coming in. Okay, so you got to look what's going on. And the polls just opened, I think, in my state, or going to open or something. Our psychops, yeah. Well, the big thing in the news, and it's all over, is about this guy who had up in New York, and where he lives, he's on the border somewhere towards a little bit past Binghamton or something. I've never even heard of this town. It's in the middle of friggin' nowhere. Okay, they moved from, I guess, New York City to, once you get 100 miles out of New York City, the rest of the state's abandoned, more or less. So there's a lot of guys looking for extremely expensive property, high taxes, and living in a fascist state moved to New York. Um, so this guy supposedly is running an animal shelter, and if you look, this is even on Wikipedia. The squirrel's biography, his life story, is on Wikipedia because my wife was saying this is insane, and the whole story is weird about this guy. Had this squirrel since 2017. He found this little baby squirrel and he raised it and he tried to let it loose, and then it came back. It was all tore up, so it lived in a house with him, and he put it on TikTok or some friggin' social media. Has over 500,000 followers. So the squirrel is an internet sensation. I think he's doing better than Hawk Girl, or was until his demise. But again, the squirrel. I mean, it's a nice animal. I see he'd look out the window with the cat and do all kinds of crazy shit. So yeah, I mean, I like squirrels. I feed them in the yard. They come and eat in the yard, run around on my porch, actually beat on the door if I don't leave something in the feeder for them. Um, Nothing wrong with squirrels. I wouldn't keep one in the house, any of those animals, or a raccoon. Okay, them animals will tear your house to friggin' shreds. Raccoons got to touch everything. All right, and squirrels are like keeping a hyper rodent around. So the guy had this popular thing, you know, and him and a squirrel on TikTok or whatever. I can't remember. But if you go and look on Wikipedia, it explains the squirrel story, which I got memorized now. The baby stayed with the guy. So this guy moved to this nondescript place and supposedly is running an animal shelter, a rehabilitation place. I guess if you find an injured rabbit, squirrel, whatever, you take them to these places which are set up for these people to care for these animals and get them back out in the wild. Actually, I've seen several of these places on YouTube. They have raccoons, squirrels, whatever. They got just about anything and everything. And I've seen it on TV. They had like an animal doctor that they bring all kinds of animals into them, wild animals, and they're cared for and then set back out into the wild. Well, this guy supposedly has this private refuge, but has no official license, okay, to have that. They're always delicious. Yeah, and see, this is what started. So this guy had this squirrel. Squirrel's a celebrity. He even has his biography, I guess you'd call it, on Wikipedia. So he's up there. So we all know the story. So the guy was supposedly running this animal shelter, even though he doesn't have a license or anything to do with, I guess biology or animal husbandry. I don't know what you take in college to, have some sort of credentials. I guess I really can't go down there and say, well, I like squirrels. I want to run an animal shelter. I don't think they'd give me a license. Without some sort of background or training or knowing something about how to medically care or take care of animals. Um, so and this is where it gets strange. So of course this guy, hey, I'm sitting here with my little pet squirrel, and the state sends the Department of Conservation comes over with a search warrant, breaks into his house, gets a hold of the squirrel. Okay, they came with a warrant. They had an actual warrant. They came to his home. They came to seize the squirrel and happened to find a raccoon, Fred, there. Who there's no pictures of Fred, and Fred does not go online or have an account or do anything, maybe other than eating Doritos all day or something. But Fred was also removed, confiscated, arrested. I don't know how you'd put it, but the squirrel and the raccoon are gone. So the guy goes to file something or do something to get the animals back. And it states that he did not have a license to run this wildlife refuge or place. And he said he's taken in 300 animals over a period of time. Why did they just take the two? You didn't, and he did not have a license. I didn't know it was required. I had a ferret up in New York, and we had to go get a ferret license at the pet store. We had to fill it out, and I had to get a license to own that ferret. You know, so I guess if you had some sort of license, you can keep a squirrel or a raccoon, which I thought, well, it is illegal. It is illegal just to take the animal and keep it in the house with you. And in this state also, I can't let the raccoons that run around my yard, come in the house, take up residence, and hang out with me. Okay, that would be against the law, and Department of Conservation will come find you and take the animal. Okay, really, they don't like the idea of me leaving food scraps out in the backyard for them. They frown upon that. Okay, uh, but it's like prove it. So yeah, but to keep one as a pet, They had a woman that did that, kept this animal for years. It was blind and old or something, and the lady carried it around like a cat or some shit. And somebody turned her in, and they did come and take the animal away. They kind of didn't fine her because it kind of got on the news, and everyone felt bad for the old woman. So the state did not fine her, and God only knows what the fines could be. I know the game warden catches you doing something weird, the fines can be heavy. So, but anyway, back to the guy. So they come down. He ain't got a license for running a reserve or whatever, the animal hospital or whatever the hell he's doing. Rehabilitation, animal rehabilitation. He ain't got a license for that. Didn't have a license for the animals, and they are wild animals, so they went. So then the story goes, one of the animals bit somebody from the conservation people. Okay, and there were complaints. Okay, how this all happened is someone phoned in complaints about this guy. Okay, so somebody dropped a dime on him. All right, so I'm wondering, all right, you got some weird dude, you got a squirrel or raccoon, says he's running some kind of rehabilitation center for injured animals. Okay, who cares? So the story doesn't make any sense. And I figured that the thing got loose, somebody's kid was screwing with the animal, and the animal bit him or something, And I figured somebody like that, somebody just being a dick about it. Well, come to find out, and it says this in Wikipedia explains this. The squirrel had 500,000 followers on Twitter or something, and was famous, and he's wearing a little hat, and he's doing all kinds of stuff, or he looks out the window and he jumps around with the guy. And then this guy had another channel, okay, that was for fans only. I guess this is where you must pay to see this. And it was Squirrel Daddy or something. So he's running two things here. He's running this nice, happy thing with an animal wearing a hat and driving a little plastic bulldozer. And then he's running a second pay channel, fans only, where I guess you got to pay to get in there. And this happens to be some sort of a pornographic channel that you have to pay to see. I don't know if he's the star of this channel or what, but then we started talking as usual. We get, just like I said, in this wonderful country of ours, we start talking about the money. This guy put up, I don't think he really do a GoFundMe. That's what it was, a GoFundMe page for Peanut the Squirrel. Nobody really mentions Fred, but the squirrel. And he's raised $170,000. I'm like, And then when you read the Wikipedia thing, it said that this pseudo porn channel that he got made $800,000 in 1 month. Now you start to see, unfortunately, the poor squirrel and the raccoon lost their life over this. But see, now it makes sense why New York State and everybody come down on this guy. It's the money and the fact he raised that wild sum of money for all these people because of the poor squirrel, and they're already dead. They were dead in a couple of days, okay? And you're wondering, why would they do that? All this other stuff. Follow the money. That's an awful lot. $800,000 in 1 month. Somebody will be showing up at my house, knocking on the door about whatever is going on online. If you're drawing that in, okay. So now we see where this is kind of really what's going on here. And something very suspicious here. Whatever this guy's doing, is he running a weird porn thing to launder the porn money through the animal thing or whatever? I don't know. Okay, but the aftermath of all of this is the minute this comes out, and like I said, if you dig beneath the surface, you find this bizarre crap, which kind of that's why I believe New York State moved on him. When you start talking to those numbers and what numbers he raised just for the squirrel fund, and the poor animal's dead already. So what's he going to do with the money? He says he's going to use it to keep his supposed animal refuge thing going in his honor. You're going to name it Peanuts Rehab or hospital or whatever. I don't even know what the hell you call it. Animal rehabilitation or whatever. It's insane. So now that's the case of the squirrel and the raccoon, okay, and this bizarre guy. How it became a thing that President Trump, the vice presidential guy there, he's also with it. Elon Musk even came out and publicly said something about the travesty of how these animals were taken away and euthanized. How it became a political thing? There's actually a "Don't Tread on Me" flag now with a squirrel. Justice, like I seen there, justice for Peanut, and all this other stuff. It's beyond belief. Being a decent human being requires a license. Yep, full SWAT team to go to the house for a squirrel, but won't go downtown. Yeah, they're not going to go screw with gangs and criminals, but they're going to go get that squirrel. Hope they didn't cheat enough today. Morning all. Hey, Joe. Only fans for squirrels. Oh. Did you? I might end up. Just take it easy, Joe. Just take it easy today and get through it. I mean, that's why I'm doing this. We got to be lighthearted about it instead of getting all worked up and nervous. I mean, and this is crazy for actual political candidates in this to bring this up and twist it around. To where it's a political thing. Okay, and of course, the thing is, they say New York State will spend money to go and send out, which is expensive to send a whole van full of armed people with a search warrant to crash into this man's house and take possession of a couple animals. I can't say they're arrested. And go after to seize these animals, 2 animals. But yet, like everyone's saying, they let people cross the border or illegals come in and then give them money. Okay, give them money that I should be getting for I paid into the system. They're giving my money away to foreigners and leave me where I'm screwed because I don't even know what's going to happen when I have to go on Medicare. Okay, that frightens me what this nightmare is going to turn into, and however long it lasts also. So, and then it becomes a political thing. Everyone's, of course, it grabs the headlines. Why? Because it's so frigging bizarre. It gets people's attention. Okay, it's so off the wall. It does grab the attention of people. God, fuck. All right. So we just have to wait to. Yeah, but what it does is it just gets everybody's attention. The cheap ploy means nothing. Unfortunately, well, it meant something to the two animals. They're no longer with us. But they caught this guy, and now he's raising money in honor of the one animal to carry on and his legal fees. I mean, how much are they going to fine you? Okay, for having animals there. I mean, yeah, the fine could be kind of expensive, but not that expensive to where I think, 117,000 or something. I I don't know. That's crazy. All right, election, but yeah, yeah. But see, the thing is, I believe they're saying, hey, we went down heavy-handed and all this other stuff, and it does when you put it in that context. Yeah, I mean, you come over with the truck with the cages in it and a couple guys and say, hey, look, here's a warrant, give us the animals. There's got to be something more going on, something there. When go to Wikipedia and look up peanut squirrel, okay? I'll do it. And I'll read to you the exact amounts that they have there. Okay, outrage fundraising followed. Vanity Fair, New York Times, New York Post. I mean, it's all there's a whole damn thing. Uh, Fans raised over 158,000 in donations for Peanut after he was euthanized. Okay, 158,000. And if you find it, it was on Wikipedia. I can't find that now. But if you find that, it'll tell you where this guy had this other thing going on online. He made $800,000 in 1 month. That would bring a van load of armed people to your house, I believe, because there was a bunch of gun shows up there that they had a promoter that he covered New York, Pennsylvania, and I remember I went to a couple gun shows. The guy used to wear some weird, like a cruise jacket or something. That he was the promoter of this. Well, he's another one. He had a raid on his home. I can't remember if he lived in the southern part of New York or in Pennsylvania, but wherever he was, there was like somebody was in the bushes outside of his house. And he lived in a rural area, and they raided his house. Okay, they killed a couple of his dogs, and I don't know who it was, Internal Revenue, State Police, or FBI, or somebody. Somebody raided his house. I mean, they came into his house, him and his family, guns drawn and everything. And you hear about this raid and what did he do and all this other stuff. And this is going back in the 90s. This isn't now. This is back in the 90s. And this got in, I forget, to either a gun magazine or something. But when you read through the story, when they broke into his home, they found cash, okay, large amounts of cash. Like he said, oh, I was saving up for a truck, so I had $45,000 in cash in a cupboard or something. And then his wife was saving up for something, and there was like another $80,000 in cash in a dresser drawer or something, and all this was confiscated. And what it came down to is the whole thing was about not paying taxes. Okay. Somehow this guy was doing something, making money in cash, and not depositing it anywhere. Okay. And not declaring it as income is basically what this all was about in reality. When you shift through all the different versions and all the different things, it comes down to the bottom line. When they did the article on them, they raided that house and they took over 100 grand out of there. But which back in the 90s, that was a boatload of money. It's like saying $250,000. Okay, now you get lots of money out of sweet, kind people. I'm not one of those. Crowds days. I voted early. Crowds days are not an option. I don't know. I voted early myself. I told you guys a couple weeks ago. Ruby Ridge. No, I don't know. Ruby Ridge is in Idaho, I think. And that was, you got your groups there. Peanut Ridge. So, the moral of the story is all this weird crap, like they're saying, is pretty heavy handed for New York to come down over somebody keeping a squirrel in the house, which is true. It sounds ridiculous. Okay. But you're missing the underlying thing that 800,000, 175 or 78,000 he raised, okay, in a GoFundMe. That's what he raised since they confiscated this animal, 170 some $1,000. Okay, I wish I could raise 170 some odd $1,000. A lot of my problems would be over. Okay, but actually, all of my problems would end. Okay, with that amount of money, and then this 800,000 in 1 month. You're gonna get visited by somebody, thieves, or some government agency armed to the teeth will roll up to your house. Like I told you, I seen him with that guy that, however he was doing this and skimming the money or what kind of racket he was running, because he promoted an awful lot of gun shows. And up in New York, they had very few of them. And when you went to like the Syracuse show, which is in the middle of the state, that was at the state fairgrounds, and that show was huge. That building they rented, uh, I've never seen one as big as that down here. I mean, it was like 3 times the size of anything. Albany was kind of small, Buffalo, but Syracuse show was huge. I don't know if he was promoting that or not, but he promoted a lot of other shows I used to go to and see. I seen the guy, actually didn't meet him or talk to him, but I knew he was the promoter. But that's what it was. It was over the money. Yeah, Elon sent him. You reach in his pocket and pull out 50 grand. And say, here, give it to the squirrel guy. And I'm still waiting. I didn't get my $1 million check. Kind of. I took I signed the petition, and I didn't get $1 million. You know, proper squirrel hunting though. But yeah, that's what's. I mean, if you hit that on a Google search, there's got to be 50, 60 things just all about this. It's crazy as hell. Let's look. Do. Guns and ammo. Truth. Yep, getting hosed here. Getting hosed. But where is he? Where? Do 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 do. Nope, ain't got it. Okay, so I don't know, guys. So I see some of you went out and voted early for Peter. They open fairly early out there because you're 2 hours behind, 7 a.m. or something. Because I looked up some of them. I looked up the hours. Uh, I forget what mine are. 7:30 to 8:30 or something. It's like 11 hours or something. Each state varies on their times. But a lot of people went. Actually, my cousin lives up in Illinois. He's called me and goes, "Did you vote already?" And I guess he's going today. A lot of people like going actually on election day to vote. And but no, we went early. I have no ideas how it's going on the polls. I didn't check the local news or nothing. I should. I was going to throw it on. And I guess, like I said, what is it, 9:30? Yeah, I got to get rolling. I'm going to do a couple more of these lives, check in with everybody. So we got the morning one done. Because I know a lot of people are scheduling. I see a lot of people that when I was running these things around 9 o'clock in the morning are here uh, throwing in their 2 cents. I may do one a little later in the afternoon sometime, or maybe wait until, towards the evening is when it gets more interesting once, you know, the polls start going. And then, of course, tomorrow, probably 9 o'clock or so, I'll do a live to see after I see check the local news and the national news and see what kind of wild stuff is going on. If the internet is still working, okay, and we haven't fallen into the dark ages because all of this riots about squirrels. Uh, let's see. Okay, I have to go to work. Have a good. Yeah, and that's things safe. I got to go out and run some errands. I got to go to the bank and pick up some stuff at the grocery store. Because I guess my wife decided we're gonna have a nice dinner here at the house. She went and got stuff. So when she comes home, I'll be sitting around. So I'll try to get another one in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there, and see how it's going. And I'm going to keep them short. That's why I said morning, the afternoon, maybe even in the evening. I don't know if I can't go to sleep. Maybe I'll have another live at night for those. Uh, and so I'll be on a couple times, and I will be going live. I was it 50 days I followed this. I didn't believe it. I started the countdown at 50 days, and other than missing 3 or 4, maybe, have kept a live chat with everyone in all that time. Okay, that's pretty different, and my analytics have gone up. I think I don't know because of the lives or covering them discount guns. Everyone seems to like that stuff a lot. Okay. Missed the old bolt action Marlin 22 mag. Vote same day paper vote. All right, guys, be safe. And I'll see you later today, gentlemen, for those of you that are going to stick around. But I have some things to deal with now, just my daily chores. All right. Have a safe day, guys, and I'll see you a little later.